What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Turford, and welcome to a Xbox Drive review of the 8BitDo SN30 controller. This is for Android devices for play with Xbox game streaming. Of course, Xbox game streaming is actually been here for about a month now. I mean, since the official launch anyways. The beta itself has been going on pretty much all year, when it was probably known better as Project xCloud. But now that Game Pass streaming is finally here, I decided to take a look at this controller from our friends at 8BitDo and see how it all played. So Ryan, roll that intro. Let's get into this.
No power greater than X.
And we're back. So just a quick couple things about this controller before I do jump into things, of course. The controller itself is very similar to other 8BitDo controllers. If you've seen the SN30 before, it's a line of controllers that kind of looks like a Super Nintendo controller. They make them for Switches as well as for older consoles. And this one, they specifically decided to do for Android phones. This does not work on PCs or your Xbox or anything like that. This is just for Android devices via Bluetooth. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to pick one of these up. And yeah, I'm going to do a full unboxing now just to show you everything that comes inside the box, and I'll also show you some gameplay with some of the games. So let's go. So here we are. Here's the box it comes in. The 8BitDo SN30 Pro Bluetooth Controller for Android with clip. So let's just pull this out. For the sake of seeing me fumble through tape, I've removed the tape from the box already. So here's everything that comes in the box. So we got the controller itself as well as the clips. Let's grab the controller, which of course is the thing everyone wants to see first. So here's the controller itself. Feels pretty good. The buttons feel very clicky. It feels really solidly built, and I actually really like the feel of this controller. It feels and looks really cool. Again, if you've used one of the SN30 controllers before, either with the Switch or another console, you're gonna be right at home with this controller. Next up, there's a little guidebook that basically tells you how to pair the device, all that good stuff. We're gonna put that over there. Next up, we've got a USB charging cable. So this looks to be a USB-C charging cable, so it should charge super quick and should actually be pretty serviceable. Last but not least, we got the phone clip here, which can be used to attach this to my phone. One of the cool things about this as well is that if you have another controller, like the Xbox One controller, you should be able to use this as well. I think it's just kind of one size fits all for this. But I mean, don't quote me on it because I haven't really tried that out too much. But yeah, so pretty cool that it comes with the phone clip here. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it in my phone, and I'll be right back with that. And here we go. After waiting through a ton of loading time, we are finally in the game. I mean, the loading time mostly, it's actually just has to do with Forza. And of course, I'm just slamming into trees because I'm kind of playing off screen here. And the latency is a little bit bad at the moment, but I mean, it's usually pretty solid. The controls themselves, though, actually feel pretty good. Again, it feels a bit heavy. And it's not actually the controller that's heavy so much as actually my phone is heavier than the controller. So it actually feels heavier than it probably should. But at the same time, overall feels pretty good. I like the stick placements themselves. Again, the buttons themselves don't feel too cramped or anything like that. And again, just pardon my poor driving skills because again, I'm looking at the screen at kind of a weird angle here. But yeah, it feels really good in my hand. Feels really good to control. Again, the responsiveness isn't so much, I don't think, the controller as much as my internet connection with the xCloud servers. I do know, especially racing games in particular, are a little bit rough to play on the service right now. But I've noticed a definite improvement on them since the service first began. So I definitely think that's going to be a thing over time that's just going to become naturally better. So I think for right now, it's probably not the best option. So let's just jump into another game real quick, and I can show this off a little bit better with a little bit better of a running game on this system. And here we go. We got Doom Eternal, one of my favorite games of the year, now available in Game Pass after the acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft. It's only fitting that we try Doom Eternal here. And yeah, I'm actually super excited to, first of all, I've never actually played this on the cloud before, so I'm actually anticipating some interesting times here. because I don't know how well this is going to work. But let's do this. We're going to jump into ultra violence, by the way, because that's just the way you got to play this game. I haven't really tried the controller with a shooter yet, and I think this is actually going to be a pretty good test to see just how well this controller performs, I think. Especially with the stick placements being at the bottom, too. I know that's going to rub some Xbox fans the wrong way, but ultimately, I think it actually feels really good in my hands. But I'm also used to the PS3 controller or the PS4 controller, so I'm used to controllers being like this. All right, here we go. We're in the game. And the latency definitely makes it feel off a bit, but the controls themselves actually feel really responsive and good. I am noticing a bit of a sensitivity issue, so let me just quickly fix that real quick. There we go. So much more comfortable once I play with the sensitivity settings. It's not nearly as bad as it was before. Yep, we got our glory kill. Bam. Go this way. And again, I'm kind of playing on a weird angle too, so it's I'm not going to be playing at my best here. But yeah, it feels really fun to play with shooters. Again, the controls feel really, really good while playing shooters, actually. I'm kind of surprised that it feels as good as it does to play it this way. Yep. We got our chainsaw. We're going to chainsaw these dudes. Really, really good stuff. I'm actually super excited to actually play more of Doom Eternal on my phone now. I mean, this is kind of a precursor for the Switch version because the Switch version's not out, so there's not really a good way to play this game portably yet. But this is definitely an option, and I do think it's definitely playable, especially because now the latency feels like it's calmed down a bit. So I'm actually feeling much more comfortable playing this. And yeah, I think that this is probably going to be a pretty solid choice going forward. I can foresee myself playing it a lot on my lunch breaks and kind of, whether it's Minecraft Dungeons or this game or anything else, like anything that's not like too resource intensive, I feel like I can probably, do pretty well at. So let's move on to the next game. All right, let's move into Minecraft Dungeons, actually, because this is a game that is actually really cool with the game streaming service already, because you can actually play it with touch controls if you want to. You don't actually have to play it with the controller. They actually remapped all the buttons to use the touchscreen if you want to do it that way. But for me personally, I love playing games with a controller much more than playing with touchscreen controls. So definitely I wanted to see how this game plays with the touchpad controller. So we'll just we'll dump into Dingy Jungle, sure, on... actually, we probably need to change our equipment really quick because I was going for one of the achievements of playing through this level without actually wearing any weapons or anything like that. All right, let's jump into this level and see how it goes. And yes, we'll play on Apocalypse 6. We don't want it to go too crazy. We don't want to play Apocalypse 7 while I'm playing off screen like this and kind of off my game a bit. And again, the loading takes just as long as it would on an Xbox One S because the blades that it's pulling from for the service itself are Xbox One S blades. So obviously it's not going to be as quick as the One X or even the Series X when that comes out later this year, which I'm super jazzed about. I'm so excited to get my new console, folks. So we'll skip past this and we'll walk around. And this probably is the best feeling, I think, just almost immediately of the 3 games that I picked out to test it with here. I mean, going forward, before I give my full thoughts, I'm going to test it with a whole bunch of other games too. But I'm only going to show 3 of these games in the video itself. But yeah, it feels super responsive. Again, the buttons feel really good to press and nothing feels too cramped or anything like that. And now that I've been using this controller a little bit more, the weight issue I talked about a little bit earlier doesn't seem to faze me or anything like that. It really just feels natural to hold in my hand. Again, it's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but I think once you get used to it, I think it's going to be a really great solution for a lot of people. But yeah, this feels really good to play. A lot of fun. I'm glad that Minecraft Dungeons is a thing because I actually really love this game a lot. It's one of my favorite games of this year. And I'm glad that there's actually a really good solution now because I think for the most part, I'm probably going to just continue to play the game this way now rather than probably use my console to play it. I mean, if I have a portable solution like this that I can just sit on my couch and play like this, and I don't have to use my TV for Minecraft Dungeons, because Minecraft Dungeons is the type of game that I like to play while watching other stuff. And usually before I would play the game on my TV, and I would have kind of my tablet with like a streaming service on it. I'd watch anime or a TV series or something like that while playing this game. But now I don't have to. Now I can actually use my TV for that stuff, and then I can use my phone itself to actually play the game, which is actually pretty sweet. And yeah, this just feels super good to play this way. And again, there's nothing against the touchpad controls. I definitely think if you want to use the touchscreen controls for this, I actually think it works a lot better than you'd think it would. But playing with this controller, man, this just feels right to me. So let's jump back to Ryan for some final thoughts on this and everything else. Thanks, past Ryan, and now for some final thoughts on this controller. So as you saw from the gameplay and from some of the things I was talking about when I was unboxing it or while I was playing the games, honestly, this controller feels really good in my hands. I've been using it for a while now. In fact, funny enough, even though I look the same as the intro, I actually had to reshoot it, whereas originally there was a younger me and then now a much older me, but now it's just older me on both sides of the video. But I've been using this for a while, actually almost a month since I first picked it up, and I gotta say, it's been awesome. I mean, I've been using it with my Android phone, like on my lunch break and stuff like that, and it's played fantastically. There was the issue that I kind of mentioned in the gameplay test where the controller itself, because it's so light, it feels kind of disproportionate to the weight of my phone, because I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S9, which weighs actually more than this controller does. So it actually feels a little bit awkward to hold at first, but as I started to use it more and more, it became less of a problem. And you could actually see when I was doing my initial impressions after unboxing the device that it definitely felt less of a problem the more I used it. And I definitely felt that over time with this controller. Again, it's been a fantastic addition, way better than I think using an original Xbox One controller. I mean, I don't mind using the Xbox One controller, but if I was to, let's say, go on the subway or something like that, or go on my commute to work, I would rather bust this thing out than my Xbox One controller, because it's so much easier to carry this around. Not only that, but the D-pad feels really good on this controller, and definitely if you like 2D games, and there's a lot of them in Game Pass to play, then this controller is going to be right up your alley as well. I will say for games like Doom Eternal, again, you saw me struggling a little bit in the video, and that's just because I think for shooters in particular, this controller is a bit awkward to control, especially like the triggers along the top are they're convex instead of concave, so they don't feel as clicky or as good as the Xbox One controller does. So just keep that in mind. So I would say games like Destiny 2, for example, you can play it on this controller, but it's not the optimal way. So I guess it kind of depends on the type of games you're into. Racing games, again, even though I portrayed it poorly in the video, playing hot shot racing or Forza, those really controlled really well on this controller. So racing games, I think, are a good fit for this controller. So again, it just depends on the type of games you're into, whether or not this controller is for you. But personally, I think this is a great alternative for someone like me who is more looking for a more compact solution to the original Xbox One controller. The controller grip it comes with is great. It hooks on very naturally, and again, it easily slides into your bag if you need to carry it with you. Likewise, battery life on this controller is awesome as well. It's about 8 to 10 hours, and I've hardly had to recharge it. And when I have the USB-C cable that it comes with, charges super quickly. So charging and battery life isn't a really huge issue with this controller at all. I think it's actually performed awesomely, just like any of the other 8BitDo controllers. So there you go. Would I recommend you check this out? As I mentioned, if you're more of a 2D gamer, or if you're not really looking to play shooters on the go, then definitely I think this is a great fit. Otherwise, if you're looking to play games like Doom Eternal or Destiny 2 on the go, then I would say probably either bring your Xbox One controller with you, or either look into something like the Razer Kishi, I think would probably be a better fit for something like that, because then it'll kind of like turn your console into something like the Switch, and I think it probably feels better in your hand, but obviously it's less portable than something like this. So there's a bit of a trade-off there. But what do you think about this controller. And did you have any questions for me that I didn't really cover off in this video? Please let me know in the comments below. And again, this is our very first review for the Xbox Drive on the YouTube channel done this way. So again, I would love your feedback on this video if you'd like to see more stuff like this, because we do the extra mile, which are reviews of games, and those are more larger discussions about games. Even if it's just me, I'll talk about it much more than a normal YouTube video that tries to remain under 10 minutes does. So if you like these types of reviews, again, let us know. Or if there's anything you want us to do differently, again, we would love to hear that as well. So as for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's TURFORD, because everybody always asks. You also find the pants man himself, Sean Capri, on Twitter at Sean Capri. You're going to find us on Twitter at the Xbox Drive. You can also find the podcast on all your podcast services around the globe. And last but not least, you can find us right here on youtube.com/the Xbox Drive, depending on when you're watching this. But more likely, it's probably youtube.com/whatever gobbledygook thing we've come up with here. So thank you so much for checking out my review of the 8BitDo SN30 controller for Android devices for Xbox game streaming. And we out. Bye.